12 R&B songs that changed music forever. Every one of them written by accident, not carefully planned, not meticulously crafted, born from mistakes, improvisation, and moments nobody expected to keep. The engineer hit the wrong button. The placeholder lyric stayed in. Someone couldn't think of what to sing, so they did something else entirely. And those accidents became the songs you can't forget. Here's what really happened. Number 12, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia, 1973. This wasn't even supposed to be about Georgia. Jim Weatherly wrote it in 1970 after calling his friend Lee Majors. Farrah Fawcett answered instead. She was heading out the door, said she was taking the midnight plane to Houston to see family. Weatherly heard that phrase and wrote a whole country song about it in 40 minutes. Midnight plane to Houston. Simple story about leaving LA behind after Hollywood doesn't work out. But here's what people forget. Cissy Houston, Whitney's mother, heard the song first, and she loved it. But the title, that didn't work for her. She told the publisher, "My people are originally from Georgia, and they didn't take planes to Houston or anywhere else. They took trains." Just like that, she asked to change it. Not because of some grand artistic vision, because it didn't feel authentic to her experience. Weatherly said, fine, change anything but the writer and publisher credits. So Cissy recorded Midnight Train to Georgia in 1972. Gender flipped the story, made it about a man going home after failing in Hollywood and the woman who follows him, and it was good, but it didn't hit big. Then Gladys Knight heard it. So he's leaving the life. And if you know anything about Gladys, you know she's from Georgia. Born and raised, the song hit different for her. This was her story now, her people, her trains. She kept Cissy's changes and took it to Buddha Records. Producer Tony Camillo tried twice to get the backing track right. Too polished the first time, too orchestrated the second. Gladys wanted it stripped down, raw. Third attempt, small band, 1 hour, simple backing track. That was it. Gladys stepped to the mic and recorded her vocal in basically one take. No warm-up, no run-through, just 4 minutes of knowing exactly what she wanted to say. And when the Pips added those backing vocals, not just harmonies, but conversation, affirmation, commentary, the song became something else entirely. It hit number 1 on the Hot 100 in 1973. Won a Grammy, became Gladys Knight's signature song, all because Farrah Fawcett said one sentence on a phone call she probably doesn't even remember, and because Cissy Houston said, "That's not how my people traveled." Sometimes the accident is the phrase, sometimes it's knowing what to change. Number 11, Stevie Wonder, Superstition, 1972. Jeff Beck was supposed to get this song. That was the deal. Stevie Wonder invited Beck to play on his album Talking Book in 1972, and in exchange, Stevie would write him a song for his new power trio, Beck, Bogert, and Appice. Fair trade. Beck showed up at Electric Lady Studios in New York, ready to add guitar to Stevie's tracks. But here's what nobody planned. One day, Stevie stepped out of the studio for a few minutes. Beck was sitting there, alone, and he loves to mess around on drums when nobody's watching. So he sat at the kit, and started playing this beat. Just fooling around. 16th notes on the hi-hat. 4 on the floor kick pattern. Nothing serious. Stevie walked back in, heard what Beck was doing, and instead of letting it stop, he said, "Don't stop." Beck said, "Come on, Stevie, I can't play the drums." Didn't matter. Stevie sat down at the Hohner clavinet and started improvising. Right there, over Jeff Beck's drum beat. That signature riff, the one that defines the whole song, came out in that moment. Beck said later, then the lick came out. Superstition. I thought, he's giving me the riff of the century. Stevie created most of the song on the spot. Same day, rough demo done before the session ended. The plan was for Beck's version to come out first. That was the agreement. But Beck's album got delayed, and Berry Gordy at Motown heard Superstition and knew what he had. He told Stevie, "This is going on Talking Book. This is your single. This is the hit." Stevie released it in October 1972, 2 months before Beck's album was even ready. It hit number 1 on the Hot 100, stayed on the chart for 16 weeks, won 2 Grammys, became one of the most iconic funk songs ever recorded. That clavinet riff is instantly recognizable 50 years later. And it only exists because Jeff Beck sat down at a drum kit when he thought nobody was listening. Beck recorded his own version eventually. March 1973. Good version, heavier, more rock, but it's Stevie's recording that the world remembers. The accident became the definitive version. If you've ever improvised something in a moment and it turned into more than you expected, you know that feeling. The best ideas don't always come from planning. Sometimes they come from someone saying, "Don't stop," when you think you're just messing around. Real talk, only 9% of you are subscribed. That hurts. We're spending hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life. And if you're watching this far, you clearly care. So hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Now, to my subscribers, barely any of you have joined the membership. And honestly, that stings even more. You know the work we put in. You keep coming back. If these videos have ever made you feel something, if this music means something to you, join the membership. It's $1 coffee a month, and it's the only way we keep this going. Let's build this together. All right, back to it. Number 10, Earth, Wind, and Fire, September 1978. Maurice White would not change that lyric. Songwriter Allie Willis begged him over and over for an entire month. Every time they worked on the song, she brought it up again. Ba-dee-ya is not a word, Morris. We have to change it. We have to make it mean something. Morris said no every single time. Here's what happened. Guitarist Al McCrae had this chord progression he'd been working on. Morris and Elise started building a song around it. Clear Skies, Dancing Under the Stars, September. They were going for joy. Pure, uncomplicated joy. But Morris had this thing he did, a habit. Anytime he was writing and didn't have the words yet, he'd sing ba-dee-ya, just a placeholder sound, a rhythm he could feel. He'd done it in other songs before. So right from the beginning, he was singing, ba-dee-ya, say, do you remember / ba-dee-ya, dancing in September? Allie thought, we'll fix that later. We'll write real words for that part. That's temporary, except Morris never intended to fix it. Philip Bailey from the band explained it later. When we didn't have words for different stuff, we would ba-dee-ya the melody. And so once they kept doing it, Maurice just said, you know what? If it's grooving, just leave it alone. Allie did not leave it alone. She kept pushing. At the final vocal session, she was desperate, told Maurice they had to rewrite it. It's nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. People are going to ask what it means. Maurice looked at her and said, what the fuck does ba-dee-ya mean? Who the fuck cares? And then he told her something she never forgot. Never let the lyric get in the way of the groove. That was it. The placeholder stayed. The nonsense became the hook. September came out in 1978, hit the top 10, became one of Earth, Wind, and Fire's biggest songs, played at weddings, parties, celebrations for decades, inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, added to the Library of Congress National Recording Registry in 2018 as culturally significant. And millions of people sing ba-dee-ya without thinking twice about what it means, because Maurice White was right. The groove mattered more than the definition. The feeling mattered more than the logic. And sometimes the accident, the thing you thought you'd replace later, turns out to be the thing people remember forever. If you've ever overthought something that was working fine the way it was, you know. Number 9, Otis Redding, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Redding couldn't think of what to sing. December to 1967, Stax Studios, Memphis. He's recording what would become his biggest solo, but that original improvisation, Otis whistling because he didn't have words, that's what gave the song its soul. The placeholder became number 8, Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come, 1964. A change gonna come. Oh, yes it. The lyrics came to Sam Cooke in a dream. That's what multiple sources confirm. Not inspiration, not an idea he worked out over time. And I go downtown. The words appeared to him while he was sleeping, and when he woke up, the song was basically written. But the dream didn't come from nowhere. Then I go to my October 8th, 1963. Sam and his wife Barbara were on tour, heading to Shreveport, Louisiana. Sam called ahead to the Holiday Inn North, made a reservation, gave his name. Everything seemed fine. They arrived, walked into the lobby. The desk clerk looked nervous, glanced at Sam, then away, said there were no vacancies. Sam's brother Charles started protesting. Sam was furious, demanded to see the manager, refused to leave until he got an answer. Barbara whispered to him, "They'll kill you." Sam said, "They ain't gonna kill me because I'm Sam Cooke." They eventually left, drove to another motel, but the police were already waiting for them, arrested Sam and 3 others for disturbing the peace. Oh, and just like the river I've been around. The New York Times ran a story the next day, Negro band leader held in Shreveport, and if you know Sam's career up to that point, this man had been careful. Avoided controversy, crossed over from gospel to pop without alienating anyone, played to white and black audiences, stayed in his lane, kept the peace. I don't know what's up there. But something broke that night in Shreveport. Within a month, the song came to him. According to his biographer, it was less work than any song he'd ever written. The dream handed him the structure, the melody, the words. A long time coming, but I know. I was born by the river in a little tent, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. He recorded it in late January 1964. Full orchestral arrangement, somber, heavy. When he played it for his protege Bobby Womack, Bobby said it sounded like death. Sam agreed.
In a little tent, oh, and just like
said, "That's kind of how it sounds like to me. That's why I'm never going to play it in public." He performed it once on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. February 7th, 1964. Never sang it again after that.
a long time coming, but I know.
Too ominous, too heavy. He told people the arrangement was too complex, but really the song felt like a premonition. 10 months later, December 11, 1964, Sam Cooke was shot and killed at a Los Angeles motel. He was 33 years old.
Ever since it's been
A Change Is Gonna Come was released as a single 2 weeks before his death. It didn't become a massive hit right away, peaked at number 31 on the Hot 100. But the civil rights movement adopted it almost immediately. It became an anthem, a statement, a promise. Rolling Stone later ranked it number 3 on their list of the 500 greatest songs of all time, and it only exists because Sam Cooke had a dream he couldn't ignore after a night he'd never forget. Sometimes the songs that change everything aren't the ones you sit down and write. They're the ones that find you. Number 7, Isaac Hayes, theme from Shaft, 1971. Isaac Hayes pulled an old riff off the shelf. That guitar line, the one that opens the whole song, the wah-wah funk that defines Shaft, that wasn't written for the movie. Hayes had it sitting around from an unfinished Stax song, something that never made it to a record, a riff with no home. MGM hired Hayes to score Gordon Parks' new detective film Shaft. Hayes had never scored a movie before. He was nervous. At the initial meeting with the producer and director in New York, he could see the anxiety on their faces. They were taking a risk on him, so they tested him, gave him the opening scene, footage of Shaft coming out of the subway, and told him to see what he could come up with. Hayes went back to his studio, started digging through his archives, and he remembered that guitar line, the one he'd never used. He pulled it out, told his guitarist Charles Skip Pitts to play it exactly the same way, but with a wah-wah pedal this time. That was it. The foundation of the entire theme, but here's the other accident that made the song work. Drummer Willie Hall's opening hi-hat pattern, that came from Otis Redding's Try a Little Tenderness, a Stax record Hayes had played on years earlier. Willie borrowed the break from that song, 16 notes, driving the whole track forward. So you've got a recycled guitar riff from a song nobody ever heard, and a drum pattern lifted from another artist's hit. 2 accidents colliding in the studio. Hayes built the rest around those 2 elements, added the Moog bass, the Memphis horns, the strings, his own vocals describing John Shaft. Who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks? The song came together fast. The whole Shaft soundtrack was recorded in 4 quick sessions. And when it was done, Hayes had created something nobody had heard before. Blaxploitation funk, cinematic soul. Music that didn't just score a movie, it defined an entire genre. Theme from Shaft hit number 1 on the Hot 100 in November 1971, stayed on the chart for 16 weeks, won the Academy Award for Best Original Song in 1972. Isaac Hayes became the first African American to win that Oscar. First recipient of the award who wasn't primarily a film composer, and that wah-wah guitar riff, the one from an unfinished Stax song that never got released, became one of the most iconic sounds in music history. Because sometimes the best material isn't what you create for the moment. It's what you already had lying around, waiting for the right time to use it. If you've ever gone back to an old idea and realized it was exactly what you needed, you already know.
You see, this cat chef is a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Number 6, Al Green, Let's Stay Together, 1971. Willie Mitchell and Al Jackson Jr. were just messing around. End of 1971. High Record Studio in Memphis. Al Green walked in like he did every day, ready to work. But that day, producer Willie Mitchell and drummer Al Jackson Jr. were sitting there testing out some melody and rhythm ideas. Nothing serious, just playing, seeing what sounded good. Al Green heard it, stopped, asked them what they were working on. They said nothing, just playing around. Green left the room, disappeared. 15 minutes. When he came back, he had the lyrics to Let's Stay Together written.
I guess you know that, huh?
15 minutes. That's all it took. Willie and Al had been noodling on a groove they thought was throwaway, and Al Green turned it into one of the greatest love songs ever recorded. But here's where it gets interesting.
You make me feel so.
They spent the next 8 days working on the vocals, and Green and Mitchell fought about it. Mitchell wanted the vocals smooth, silky, that signature high record sound. Green wanted it more raw, more masculine. He didn't want to sound too polished.
Let me say.
They went back and forth. Mitchell kept pushing for softer. Green kept resisting. Finally, late in the process, Green got so frustrated he stormed out of the studio, got in his Corvette, and peeled out with the tires spinning loud enough for Mitchell to hear it inside. Drove out to the country, just left. When he came back, he told Mitchell, "Fine, no roar, just whisper, you win." And that's the vocal you hear on the record. That smooth, intimate delivery. Al Green giving in to Willie Mitchell's vision. The compromise became the signature sound. Mitchell was so confident in the song, he had 500,000 copies pressed before it even came out. The record dropped on Monday. By Thursday, it was gold. By January 1972, it hit number 1 on the Hot 100, stayed on the chart for 16 weeks, number 1 on the R&B chart for 9 weeks. Let's Stay Together became Al Green's biggest hit, his only number 1 pop single, his signature song for the rest of his life, and it only exists because 2 musicians were killing time in the studio, playing something they thought meant nothing, until someone walked in and heard what they couldn't hear. That's the thing about accidents in music. Sometimes the person creating the accident doesn't even know they're creating it. They think they're just warming up, filling time, waiting for the real work to start. But someone else hears it different. Here's the song underneath the mess around, and 15 minutes later, you've got a classic. If you've ever turned someone's throwaway moment into something they didn't see coming, you know exactly what that feels like. Number 5, Aretha Franklin, Respect, 1967. Carolyn Franklin came up with it in the studio, on the spot, February 14th, 1967, Valentine's Day, Atlantic Recording Studios in New York. Aretha had just signed with Atlantic after 6 years at Columbia going nowhere. Her first single with the label, I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You, was blowing up. Now they needed to move fast, get more songs recorded while the momentum was building. Aretha wanted to record Respect, Otis Redding's song from 1965. She'd been performing it live for years, but she was going to flip it, change the perspective, make it a woman's song, a demand, not a request. She and her sisters Irma and Carolyn had been working on ideas at home, sitting at the piano in Aretha's small Detroit apartment, watching cars go by. And they came up with this, "Sock it to me," just a phrase, street talk from the time. Girls would say it to guys. Nothing sexual, just a cliche, a rhythm, but it felt right for the song. So they brought that into the studio. But here's what nobody planned. They got to the bridge, the middle section, the part where the arrangement opens up. And Carolyn, now right there in the session, said, "Take care, TCB, taking care of business, street slang, shorthand for handling your responsibilities, getting things done." Elvis would steal it later, put it on jewelry, call his band the TCB Band. But in that moment, Carolyn just threw it out there, spontaneous, and Aretha jumped on it, sang it back, locked it in, then Carolyn did it again. Another spontaneous idea. According to engineer Tom Dowd, she's the one who said, "Spell it out, RESPECT, make them spell the word, letter by letter." Aretha and her sisters recorded that part together, call and response. The sisters singing the letters, Aretha answering back. And that's the part everyone remembers, the part that became a battle cry. The song came out in April 1967, hit number 1 on the Hot 100, stayed on the R&B chart for weeks. Won 2 Grammys, became a feminist anthem, a civil rights anthem, Aretha Franklin's signature song for the next 5 decades. And the 2 most iconic parts, "Sock It to Me" and spelling out RESPECT, both came from Carolyn Franklin, making it up as they went. No rehearsal, no plan. Just, what if we try this? Otis Redding heard Aretha's version later and said admiringly, "That little girl done took my song away from me." Because she didn't just cover it, she rewrote it in the moment, in the studio, with her sister, throwing out ideas that became permanent. That's what collaboration looks like when everyone's locked in.
When you get home, I'm gonna do it for you like it's supposed to be done.
Someone says something, someone else catches it, and 30 seconds later, you've got the hook that defines the entire song. Number 4, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, The Tracks of My Tears, 1965. Marv Tarplin was messing around with the wrong song, early 1965. Hitsville, USA, Motown. The Miracles were in the studio. Guitarist Marv Tarplin was warming up, just noodling on his guitar, not working on anything specific, just playing. And he started messing with the chord changes from the Banana Boat song. You know the one, Harry Belafonte, Day-O, that folk song from the 50s. Tarplin liked the chords, so he switched them around, changed the rhythm, played with the progression. Smokey Robinson heard it, stopped, said, "What is that?" Tarplin said nothing, just fooling around with Banana Boat song chords. Smokey said, "Keep playing that." And right there, Tarplin's warm-up became the foundation for The Tracks of My Tears. They worked around with it, built a melody on top. Smokey came up with the concept. He'd been looking in the mirror one day, thinking about how people cry so much that you could see tracks left by their tears on their face. The metaphor stuck. He wrote the lyrics around it. But the whole song came from Tarplin's accident, switching up someone else's chords while he was just killing time before the real work started. The song came out in June 1965. Hit number 2 on the R&B chart, number 16 on the pop chart, and it became more than a hit. It became the miracle song, the one that defined everything Smokey could do as a songwriter. In 2021, Rolling Stone ranked The Tracks of My Tears as the greatest Motown song of all time. Not just a miracle song, the greatest song the entire label ever released. Above My Girl, above Ain't Too Proud to Beg, above everything Marvin and Diana and Stevie ever recorded. And it wouldn't exist if Marv Tarplin hadn't been fooling around with Harry Belafonte chords on a random afternoon. That's the thing people don't always understand about accidents. Most of the time, the person creating the accident has no idea they're creating anything at all. They think they're warming up, filling time, playing something that doesn't matter until someone walks in and hears it different. Tarplin thought he was just playing Banana Boat's song wrong. Smokey heard the intro to a classic, and that gap between what Tarplin thought he was doing and what Smokey heard, that's where the song lives. Number 3, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, double lead vocal, 1971. The engineer made a mistake, and Marvin Gaye loved it. June 1st, 1970, Hitsville, USA studio in Detroit. Marvin was recording What's Going On. The song that would change his entire career. The song Berry Gordy hated and tried to kill. The one that proved Marvin was more than a love song crooner. Marvin recorded 2 lead vocals, 2 separate takes, different approaches, one more aggressive, one softer, standard practice. You give the producer options, let them pick which one works better. Engineer Ken Sands was supposed to prepare a tape so Marvin could compare them. Rhythm track in the middle. Each vocal on separate tracks, side by side. That way Marvin could listen to one, then the other, and decide which version he wanted to keep. But Sands made a mistake. He mixed them together by accident. Played both vocal tracks simultaneously through a mono machine instead of keeping them separate. 2 leads at the same time, overlapping, slightly out of sync, creating this weird doubled effect. Marvin heard it and stopped, said, "That's it. That's the sound." Sands tried to explain, and that wasn't intentional. That was an error. He was supposed to give Marvin isolated tracks, not both at once. Marvin said, "I don't care. Do that. Keep it." And that double lead vocal became Marvin Gaye's signature style for the next decade. You hear it all over What's Going On, all over Let's Get It On. That layered conversational sound, like Marvin's having a dialogue with himself. It defined his entire artistic identity from that point forward. But here's what makes this even more perfect. Ken Sands didn't take credit for it. Years later, talking to author Ben Edmonds, he said, "That double lead voice was a mistake on my part. Not, I innovated a new technique. Not, I created something brilliant." He called it a mistake because that's what it was. An accident he didn't mean to make. And Marvin heard it and said, "This is better than what I planned." That's the difference between good artists and great ones. Good artists execute the plan. Great artists recognize when the accident is better than the plan. The song came out in January 1971 over Berry Gordy's objections. Sold over 200,000 copies in the first week. Hit #1 on the R&B chart for 5 weeks. Changed Marvin's career, changed Motown sound, changed what soul music could be about. And one of the most distinctive parts of that entire album came from an engineer pressing the wrong button and mixing two things together that were supposed to stay separate. Number 2, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, saxophone opening, 1971. Eli Fontaine was just warming up. Same sessions, same album, different accident. Eli Fontaine, saxophonist, session player, part of the crew at Hitsville, USA, was in the studio while Marvin Gaye was working on What's Going On. The song already had the rhythm track down. The structure was there. They were adding overdubs, layering parts. Fontaine had his alto sax out. And before they started the actual take, he was just warming up, running through some phrases over the track. Not performing, not recording, just getting his chops ready, testing the feel, that yearning, beautiful sax riff that opens What's Going On, the one that's maybe the most recognizable 5 seconds on the entire album. That was Eli Fontaine messing around before they pressed record. Marvin stopped the tape, told Fontaine, "We've already got what we need. You can go home." Fontaine looked confused, said, "I was just goofing around. That wasn't the take." Marvin said, "Well, you goof off exquisitely. Thank you." And that warm-up became the intro, the opening statement, the sound that pulls you into one of the most important albums in soul music history. Think about that for a second. The engineers were still setting up. Fontaine wasn't performing yet. He thought he was tuning in, getting ready, killing time. And Marvin heard it and said, "That's better than anything we'll record on purpose. Here's why this matters so much." What's Going On was already a risk. Berry Gordy told Marvin it was the worst thing I ever heard in my life. Gordy thought the whole album was too jazzy, too experimental, too political, not commercial enough. He refused to release it. So Marvin went on strike, told Motown he wouldn't record anything else until they put the song out. And when they finally released it, against Gordy's wishes, it changed everything. The album became Motown's biggest seller up to that point. What's Going On? The single hit #2 on the Hot 100. The album defined a new era for the label, gave Stevie Wonder and other artists permission to do their own thing. And the sound that opens that entire journey, the saxophone line that sets the tone for the whole revolution, came from a guy warming up who thought nobody was listening. Fontaine wasn't trying to create something iconic. He was literally just getting ready to work. But Marvin was listening, and he knew the difference between someone performing and someone just being themselves. Number 1, Bill Withers, Ain't No Sunshine, 1971. Wonder if she's gone. Bill Withers ran out of time, so he sang I Know 26 times instead. Withers was recording his debut album, Just As I Am. He wasn't a professional musician. He was a factory worker from West Virginia who'd been making airplane toilets for Boeing, 32 years old, first time in a real studio, nervous as hell.
It's not warm when she's away.
He had this song called Ain't No Sunshine. Simple melody, straightforward structure, but he hadn't finished the lyrics yet. He'd been too busy working at the factory, didn't have time to complete everything before the session.
And this house just ain't no home anytime.
So when he got to the middle section, the bridge where the song breaks down, he didn't have words written. He needed something to sing, some kind of placeholder, just to show the band what the rhythm should be. So he sang, I know, just filling space, marking time. He planned to write real lyrics later and come back to fix it, but then something unexpected happened. Graham Nash was in the studio, so was Stephen Stills, Booker T. Jones, all experienced musicians, all guys who'd made hit records. They heard Withers singing I Know over and over, and they told him, leave it. Don't change it. That's the hook. That's what people will remember.
Always gone too long. Anytime she goes away.
Withers didn't believe them at first. How could a placeholder be the best part of the song? How could repeating two words 26 times be better than actual lyrics? But they were right. Ain't No Sunshine came out as a single in July 1971.
Sunshine when she
hit number 3 on the Hot 100, number 6 on the R&B chart, won a Grammy for Best R&B Song, became Bill Withers' signature song for the rest of his life. And that bridge, the part he thought he'd replace, became the part everyone sings along to, the part that makes the song unforgettable.
And this house just ain't no home anytime.
Michael Jackson covered it, Paul McCartney covered it, Prince, Sting, Isaac Hayes, Tom Jones, dozens of versions, and every single one kept the I Know repetition exactly the way Withers sang it when he thought he was just filling time. Because Graham Nash and Stephen Stills heard something Withers couldn't hear. They heard a man too busy to finish his lyrics, accidentally creating the most honest moment in the entire song. That repetition, that refusal to find the perfect words, became the perfect words.
Just ain't no home anytime she goes away.
Withers said later that he deferred to their expertise. These were hit makers. He was a factory worker. If they said keep it, he'd keep it. But here's the real lesson in this story.
It's not warm when she's
Sometimes the thing you think isn't good enough is actually the thing that makes everything else work. Sometimes running out of time is better than having all the time in the world. Sometimes the placeholder is more honest than anything you'd write on purpose.
Ain't no sunshine.
Bill Withers thought I know was temporary. The world decided it was permanent, and that's how a factory worker who didn't finish his lyrics ended up creating one of the most covered songs in soul music history.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's